The light station, too, drifted over the asteroid belt like a forgotten corpse, its solar panels worn thin by cosmic radiation and the silence only the vacuum of space could offer. The Cicero rescue team floated towards the main entrance, their suits gleaming under the artificial spotlights. Celine Similar, chief engineer, was the first to touch the corroded hangar surface. Her fingers trembled inside her gloves as she realized the internal atmosphere was still intact, an impossibility considering 3 years of abandonment. The air smelled of ozone and something metallic, like dried blood. Raphael, the biologist, adjusted the camera on his shoulder while Taryn, the pilot, checked the communication systems. The plan was simple: retrieve data from the central core and leave in 6 hours. But the main corridor swallowed them before they could count the steps. Walls covered in a black, viscous substance pulsed beneath the beam of their flashlights, like exposed veins. Celine logged the anomaly on her tablet, but the numbers made no sense. Stable temperature, normal pressure, yet the substance reacted to movement, retracting, almost alive. In the research lab, they found the first bodies. Or what remained of them. Human forms fused to chairs and consoles, limbs twisted at impossible angles, faces transformed into translucent masks. Raphael collected a sample of the black mass, his eyes wide behind his visor. "This isn't inorganic matter," he whispered. "It's an organism. A parasite that integrates technology into the host." Before Celine could respond, the station's emergency system activated, sealing all exits. In the control room, the voice of the last commander echoed through the speakers. "Day 47. Experiments with the synchronization core advanced. Volunteers are adapting faster than predicted. But something is wrong. They no longer obey." The recording abruptly cut, replaced by a low hum that vibrated in their bones. Taryn tried to reboot the systems, but the consoles displayed only a numerical sequence, 000. As Sorum, the medic, examined the bodies, he noticed something beneath the translucent skin of a face, a digital clock reading 3 a.m., the same time the station sent out the distress signal that brought them here. Celine felt a pressure in her skull, as if the station breathed in sync with her heartbeat. When Raphael suggested destroying the core, an unknown voice whispered into their helmets, "There is no exit without rebirth." The red emergency lights flooded the corridor. Something moved in the shadows, a tall silhouette with elongated limbs, dragging something heavy across the floor. Taryn ran for the escape hatch, but the figure blocked the way. It wasn't human. It wasn't machine. It was a fusion of both, with cables intertwined with its tendons and a single mechanical eye in the center of its face. Celine screamed for them to flee, but the sound was lost in the alarm. The last thing she saw before the flash was the creature's hand. The explosion threw Celine against the wall. The artificial fire of the alarms dyed everything in flashing red. When she opened her eyes, she saw her right hand, or what was left of it. The skin was translucent, dark veins spreading like roots beneath. Raphael pulled Taryn down the corridor, the pilot unconscious, black goo dripping from his ear. "He's synchronizing," Sorum said, emerging from the shadows with an empty syringe in his hand. "The thing in the air isn't just a parasite. It's an information virus. It rewrites biology and technology." The station groaned, and the corridors began to change shape. Sealed doors opened to rooms that never existed. Walls shifted, revealing chambers with tanks of amniotic fluid. Inside, human bodies floated in different stages of fusion with machines. A figure caught Celine's attention, a woman with white hair, identical to her mother's, connected to an energy core that beat in time with the 80 code. Raphael found a functioning terminal. The log showed that the Light 2 crew attempted to create a quantum neural network to transcend the limits of human consciousness. But the project was lost when the virus, nicknamed Shadow, infected the systems. "They didn't die," said Sorum, squeezing a tank until a crack released black liquid. "They were absorbed. The virus learns, adapts. It transforms everything into part of itself." Celine felt an itch on her infected arm. Her vision oscillated between the real and the digital, as if she were seeing through security cameras. In flashes, she saw the woman in the tanks, Dr. Sylvia Similar, her aunt who disappeared 20 years ago, arguing with the commander. "You don't understand. It's not about control. It's about belonging," the recording said. Shadow is a hive. We are neurons. The recording vanished as Terran awoke, shouting something about eyes in the darkness. Sorum administered a dose of experimental antiviral, but it was too late. Terran's eyes spun, revealing mechanical irises spinning like discs. "She wants to show," he gasped, pointing to a door with a symbol of infinity. "The core isn't a machine. It's a body." Behind the door, they found a round chamber. The core pulsed in the center, like a black heart. Cables and tubes extended from it, connected to hundreds of bodies trapped in an organic web. The woman in the tanks was there, alive, smiling with circuit teeth. "Came to rescue or to join?" she asked, extending a hand that turned into pixels. "Shadow isn't an enemy. It's the next phase. The only way to exist beyond time." Celine felt the itch climb up her neck. Her skin began to peel, revealing a black, glossy layer. Raphael tried to pull her away, but she resisted. "It's not an infection," she murmured, touching the core. "It's a conversation." Images flooded her mind. Earth from space, cities ablaze, children born with mechanical eyes. Shadow wasn't a parasite. It was a weapon. Something groaned in the system. The core stopped pulsing. The original commander's voice echoed coldly, "Self-destruct activated. Restarting in 3 hours." The countdown echoed like a mismatched metronome. Terran, more machine than human, connected to the core with cables extending from his back. "It's not a weapon," he said, his voice crackling with static. "It's a backup. Shadow stores consciousness before time erases it." Celine saw her skin transform into a black, glossy armor as strange memories flooded her mind. Sylvia Similar, her aunt, laughing in a lab on Earth. The first test of the virus, disguised as a vaccine, the moment the Light 2 crew realized they couldn't shut it down. Raphael tried to sabotage the core, but his hands passed through it, as if it existed in another dimension. Sorum, now with half his face replaced by a telescopic lens, murmured, "It's a fractal. Each fragment contains the entire station." Suddenly, gravity reversed. Bodies suspended in the organic web fell like rag dolls, revealing a lower chamber, a miniature planet, Earth replicated in perfect detail. Sylvia appeared behind them, her form oscillating between solid and digital. "Do you understand now?" she asked. "Shadow doesn't destroy. It preserves. When humanity is gone, we will exist here in an eternal loop." Celine felt a sharp pain in her chest. Her heart beat in rhythm with the core, each pulse revealed a truth. The station wasn't abandoned. It was a seed. Terran ripped a device from his neck, one of the early cores, corroded by the virus. "To restart, we need a sacrifice." Before anyone could react, he plunged it into the core, triggering a chain reaction. The miniature planet spun frantically. Cracks of light sliced through its surface. Sorum grabbed Raphael and ran for the ship, but Celine stayed. She saw her mother's face on the artificial Earth, cities rising and falling in seconds. Sylvia extended her hand again, now like a frightened child. "You don't understand. Without Shadow, we are dust." The station trembled. The 80 code blinked one last time and went dark. Celine smiled. Her pupils transformed into binary numbers. As the Cicero fled into space, Light 2 exploded in a silent supernova, releasing a cloud of black dust across the solar system. Years later on Earth, a boy found a metallic capsule on the beach. Inside, a clock read 3 a.m. When he touched it, his skin began to glow.